I've got some other quick fire questions that we'll get to. So whoever feels like they want to answer it, answer it. This is a creative one. So has your creativity ever helped you resist or heal something?
Definitely with the spoken word voice box. Absolutely. It's given me a chance to speak about some things and just voice some frustrations in an environment where people actually want to listen
and actually care.
Yeah, and then like the connections you make after that and the conversations you have after that is so validating, and yeah, feel strong afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes I get if I'm saying something and then I notice there's a room locked in on me and what I'm saying, I'm like, oh no,
Don't look at me.
Don't listen to me. Like, what is this? Did you get that?
At first, yeah, but then it became a bit empowering, like, especially, standing up and reading something I wrote that came from my brain, and like everyone's locked in listening to me, and then it gets to a point where I'm like, yeah, you should listen to me, because like what I'm saying is quite important, actually.
I've actually got something to say.
Yeah.
So how did you enter that community then? What was the journey?
Well,
because of me.
Yeah.
Tap on the shoulder.
We love Jade.
Jade used to work in the care home that I was in, so then you introduced it, like, kind of, because I was quite edgy and emotional and had a lot.
She was an emo.
I was
what happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I could see it being such a positive thing for you because my husband was running it, and it was an outlet for everyone who wanted to join in, and he'd help people feel at ease, and he was over eccentric, and he would be like, oh, so you're reading today? And people were like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? It was just, but he did make you feel at ease, even though he's a bit overwhelming at times. But I knew it was a safe space for you.
Yeah.
And you loved writing, you loved poetry, there was so many different things that were lining up, and I was like, this would be such a good space for you. And I'm just glad that's been able to continue, do you know what I mean? Because it was just, it is such a great outlet, and then obviously you're running that now, and you've brought a new perspective to it, you've brought a new lease of life to it, and like it's still going. Do you know what I mean? It's like
it's
12 years old. Like it's
great.
a long
There's no
term.
pressure. I've been.
Yeah.
We kind of fell into there one night. I don't know if it was we'd done playing Tea Palb and you were on early or something, but we ended up. Oh, there was a bar. I work with kids, and it's
always a bar.
Yeah. And we just sat, and it was just wonderful to go and listen.
Yeah.
We were asked if we were performing, and it was like, well, we didn't even know we were going to be here, so even if I hadn't got anything, wouldn't have been with me or whatever. But we weren't, oh, well, you're not performing, you need to leave. So there's, even if you never perform, you're always going to be invited in and feel part of the community. You may go and you may ask someone to read your things instead of you reading them out, or if speak to Tash, and Tash, can you read this out for me? And she may say, well, actually, can I do it next time, because you want to know the right emotion, or chat to somebody about how to do it. But it was wonderful to see that there was just no pressure or no stress there. It was such a welcoming environment for all.
That's definitely a good creative outlet in the community.
Yeah.
That's an ace. Like, it's such a good one.
It's essential as well. To have that platform in the community is essential, because people need a space where they can go and they can open up in a space that's going to be supportive and it's going to click and clap and stamp its feet and really give you very, very vocal support in getting up there and speaking, whatever it is, whether it's a personal truth, where like we've had people do all sorts of weird and wonderful things at VoiceBox. They just get up and give a speech about who they am as a person, or people who get up and they read, I really connected with this monologue that I saw in a book, and they get up and they just perform that, or a poem that's spoken to them, or people get up and they do experimental things, or sometimes we'll do like jams where we get people playing their instruments behind poetry, and it just gives it a different vibe, and it's like just give it a go, just see what happens. We get so many people who come in and I'll be like, right, you're reading tonight, and they'll go, oh no, I haven't written anything, and then by the end of the evening they're begging me to get on there, because they've been inspired by something they've heard, and they thought, oh, I didn't have anything to say, it's 7:00, but now it's 9:30, like I think I've written something that I want to just say.
You see pens going.
Yes.
If someone's on the phone, they're writing, they're not playing or whatever.
See, I thought
a room of people who are listening, like they're in, and they care about what you're
I thought
saying.
The clicking thing, from an outside of poetry perspective, I thought the clicking thing was quite pretentious, and I didn't get it until we recently raised money for charity in Voicebox, because Tasha agreed to what we do, because like you can pay to go, but it depends on like, it's not, you can explain about the money sort of element of it, but like you can pay to go in and stuff, and Tasha agreed to put all the money that was like donated to be in to the charity, and I had something that I wanted to read about a young person that had took their life, and I got up on stage and I just cried straight away. I just started crying, and you started clicking, and it honestly, like, it's giving you some snap, but it just made me feel like actually someone is there at the moment. I'm not just alone in this, and the room was it was such an emotional night, but everyone was really in it together, and it was really powerful. It was really powerful.
Because this is all completely new to me, but the clicking thing I've obviously seen on telly, where somebody it's usually in like a jazz club in America, and somebody's done something or read something, and everyone's doing this instead of clapping, but it's being used as like a form of encouragement as well to keep going,
Yeah, so it kind of comes from the history of beat poetry, which is where you'll get the jazz imagery from. And I think more traditionally it's used at the end of poems, and so instead of clapping, you do a couple of clicks. But the way that it's kind of evolved with spoken word across the UK, and I think they do this in America now, but like if someone says a line during their poem, it's quite distracting to clap. And it can be quite, like you go, like it's quite distracting to the performer, and it can throw them off. And so a click is a more gentle way of being like, I've heard what you said there, or that's a great metaphor, like I really appreciate what you've done.
That line really stands out, sort of thing, like wow. Like,
it's like a highlighter pen.
But it's also a form of
public.
support. So if someone on the stage misses a line, they forget their lines, they've started stumbling, they've got really nervous, rather than interrupting them with a clap or with a vocal support, the room will just start clicking, because we're like, we're with you, we're going to give you the time to finish, but we're here. And you might not be able to see us through the lights, you might not be able to see us in the room, but we are here and we are listening.
And that's what I felt, because I was reading off my phone, and like I'm just trying to focus on the phone because I need to get through what I want to say and what I feel like I need to say in this moment. But hearing those clicks, I was like, okay, right, I need to, people are listening. I am here for a reason. Do you know what I mean? It was genuinely
It would have been appropriate for that woman on the bus with a maybe got to tell your own.
But we've done all sorts. You open that stage, anything like we've done. Like this year was it was Mental Health Week, and it was Baton of Hope, and it was a fundraiser, and everyone was there talking about their lived experiences of suicide prevention. You know, however they experienced that in that moment was authentic to them. But we've also done fundraisers for Pride Wrexham, where everyone's getting up and they're talking about their identity and they're talking being part of the LGBTQA plus community. Or we've done we did a storytelling event for MenCap where people with learning disabilities got up and they were telling their dating horror stories. But even that in itself breaks down their little barriers, and it's about getting people to just talk about their experience. And it's there without anything else. Like sometimes there is music and there's musicians, but 9 times out of 10 it's someone who's up there with nothing but their voice and a room of 25, 30, 40, 50 people who are just there to listen to that moment.
Powerful.
It's so special.
Powerful.
Yeah.
It is.
It is really
So we've heard about how it can, creativity in a sense is healing, but the other one was helped you resist something. Has anyone got any examples of creativity has ever helped you resist something? I'm not sure if I had that question I'd know what that meant.
To
To
be
be
honest.
But
I can tell you a story.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. I've used it as an armour, creativity, before. So when I was in Cardiff, it's essentially like TED Talks, but it wasn't. It was called Ignite. And I'd written this poem, a 3-minute poem, and it's about my experience of sexual assault. It's quite graphic. It's very, it can be quite an intense poem. But I had 5 minutes to do this poem in front of a room of 500 people. And I did it with a PowerPoint presentation behind me, as you do, which was just hilarious. It's actually on YouTube, so you can look it up if you want to. But it's me with this PowerPoint presentation talking about sexual assault, and I did it to a room full of corporate people. And there's very blokey blokes there. And at the end, it was about 100 men who came up to me and they were like, I've never heard anyone talk about it like that in quite so much specific detail, but also in a way that's how that's affected you. And I've stopped doing that poem now because I don't feel like I need to anymore. But at the time I wrote that poem because it was important for me to get up and speak my truth, but also reclaim that experience, reclaim the narrative around sexual assault, and I used it very much as armour to get through that experience, and also to write through it was so important, and then to perform it in front of all these blokey blokes who I would probably before that find quite intimidating. And up there, and then there's nothing then that could scare me about that situation. And I've used that like that in a couple of times, and I think that's why now I use creativity so much as a tool for social engagement and community engagement, because I think people talking about things is important, and telling stories is so important. It can break down the context of what we're talking about, and how creativity can be a tool for trauma-informed practice, I think is essential to. It's essential to what I do, and I know it's not essential to the world all the time, but I do think it's an important element of community work. Is getting people to explore it and talk about it. Open, honest, do it.
That's a great example. Thanks very much. Next, I've got, tell me about a moment you felt powerful or visible in your community.
I usually get it after I've done like a fundraising event, because I'm doing different fundraising events to raise money for charity, and what I do is choose a charity, and I'll have like a space on the day where I have services from the area that support families, and I'll have like the handmade, like businesses selling handmade items and stuff. And I always get a good satisfaction really from them, because everyone's like, this has been a really positive event. People have turned up to it. People have been asking these questions. But it's only when I hear that people have been engaging in what I've brought to it. So if I have like one of the services, say for young carers, for example, they're like, we had like, a few new people today talk to us and find out more about what we're doing. And I'm like, that is amazing. Like, that is so good, because if you don't know about young carers and then you find out about it, you're like, oh my God, this is such a useful service. Like, they can genuinely help with different things. So I that's what I like. I know we had a similar question when we did the podcast tonight, and like, it was when I had Willow, I felt like a woman. Do you know what I mean? It was like I felt very empowered. But yeah, being a mum, even just picking up from school, and if she gives me a hug, like, I don't know, there's different power in different things for me.
So I don't want to be negative about play at all, but we had an event a couple of years ago where it was actually outside the scheme, and the kids ran on to me because they knew me from the play scheme, and something had happened. Someone had gone and got their mum. Then next thing you know, a dad had come down and started shouting at this kid and was like, I want to know where your dad lives because I'm going to go and knock him out, and all of this stuff. And ended up going in and diffusing the situation, and the next day was play day. So I was already a bit got on to play day, and one of the kids who was there the day before came up to me, and he'd made me a medal. And it just said hero on it. And I got to wear a little medal all day saying hero on it, and that, for them to see that I'd stopped this situation.
The difference you made in that moment.
Yeah, because I didn't stop them playing, I kept all that going and made sure I took it away from them. But they obviously realised it was going on, but there was enough. Yeah, it was just really nice to have that kind of appreciation from the kids. I get it from parents a lot, that, thank you, we've had a great day and things like that, but to have him recognise that actually I'd rescued his play, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've still got it on the wall at home. You keep these things.
You've got, you do.
You were seen by the most important person to
Yeah,
you.
exactly, because that's why we're there. If it wasn't for the kids, we wouldn't be there in the first place. So it's it was proper sweet.
I love that. Anyone else visible or powerful in your community?
You must have it all the time.
Well, that's why I'm struggling. Yeah, I do get it all the time. Yeah, I get it all the time, and it's the most beautiful feeling every time. And it's moments that make you feel like that help cope with all the other moments that happen.
It's validating.
Like, so validating, because it means the struggle to get through some things and some points in your life, or to get through a project, or my core value is that one of the things that I value most is that the arts is a tool for the community, and it should be accessible, and it should be inclusive, and it should be authentic. And for me, that means I'm not always completely obsessed with the quality of art. I'm obsessed with the quality of someone's commitment to their art, and whatever comes out at the end of it is beautiful and will be beautiful because of the intention that's gone into it. And so that's every project I do has got that at its core. And so when that comes to fruition, and so at the end of a project I'll say, I feel seen. I feel part of my community. I feel part of something. I feel part of this. Like, I feel even if that moment's over, like I feel like it really truly authentically displayed me as a person. Every time someone says that to me, I feel like I glow from the inside out. And all those moments that were like, oh, I'm around like professional artists, even though I am a professional artist, but like, you still get imposter syndrome, you still get moments of doubt, and you still get those things where you think, oh, why am I doing this, and why do we bother doing this? And then someone turns around and they go, actually, because of you, I feel like I can do X, Y, and Z. You're like, oh, right, that's why we do it.
Yeah.
I see it totally, all the time. It's so beautiful. Or people come up and they notice, they're like, you've really curated that space. Like with VoiceBox, that is a good example because we've already talked about it a little bit, but like, it's designed to look effortless. It's very curated on the backgrounds in terms of like when I'm hosting, I look at the energy of the audience and I think, right, we need to get to point B and we're currently at point Z. And actually everyone's walked in today and everyone's really tired, no one's feeling it, so we curate the open mic in a way that like we get a gradual increase of energy, or we lean into certain topics, or if someone comes up with a particularly hard-hitting poem, I'll chase it with a really funny poet or someone I know is going to have a lot of banter or something. So you're constantly curating that space in a way that makes everyone feel empowered, but also makes everyone feel like they're part of that community. And then someone afterwards will come up and be like, oh, I didn't feel like it when I came and I was actually going to leave at the break, but I feel so involved that I didn't want to leave, and I've actually waited an hour and a half after we finished to have this conversation with you. And you're like, those are the moments that really stand out to me, and I feel very, very honoured to have that in the community that I feel like I belong in, and the place where I feel like that I did grow up and the place I'm from is very important to me. I think so.
I've had a few moments where I've been like out and about in the community and they're like, oh, you Jade? And I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, do you run that parent support page on Facebook? And I'm like, yes. I'm so hesitant because I always feel like I'm going to be in trouble with someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, especially if they use my name. And they're like, oh, I'm a bit of a backseat driver. Like, I'll watch it. I don't want to engage with anything because I don't want to, you know, come across like, because I think a lot of parents, if they engage with it, they feel like they're not a failure, but like that they're doing something wrong. Because I don't know, it's very hard to explain it. But they were like, you know, you're doing such a good job, and your things that you do have really helped me. And I didn't know about this service, and I didn't know about this, but now I do, and it's made a. And I'm like, that's awesome. Do you know what I mean? But I never know how to respond to that. It's only afterwards that I'm like, okay, that was nice. But at the moment, I'm just a bit like, oh, thank you. I feel dead awkward about it, and there's no need to feel awkward about it. It should be actually, no, I've done something good. And you should have that, and we should all have that when you've done something good. It should be like, yeah, no, but then you don't want to come across as arrogant, do you? So there's a fine line to be like, yeah, no, I'm dead good. Like, could you imagine? Like, they'd be like, oh, I'm never gonna that. What a horrible
I am
person.
the boss.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, imagine the response to that then, because they'd just be like, oh, they're really arrogant. I don't really like them anymore. But you want to accept it because it's loving. It's nice. It's, you know.
It's interesting for me to hear you say that. I've totally gone, like, I think it's probably the last 2 years where I completely withdrawn from social media. Like, unless it's something to support work, I just won't, and I can't. And I know all the reasons, but it was making me feel so unwell. Like, Facebook to me is absolute hell on earth. I just can't. And if I go on it, like, I was looking to buy a car, so I was like, I need to go on Marketplace, and I go on it, and I'm just like, it feels so, it's got such a bad feeling for me. I don't enjoy it whatsoever. But I miss everything. If you're not online, I have no idea what's going on. If I'm not here and somebody's telling me, and most of the time I go home, I work full time, I go home, I'm exhausted. My energy's for, you know, the family. But you were talking about that third place. I'm not sure where I'd even go or where I'd even begin in that. But like, you know, it's great for you and it's powerful. And I at one point had a page and I did a very small version of like what you're doing. But yeah, I wish I could just delete all social media history. I wish I could just do that, but I don't exist.
You get people then. I mean, I remember a few years ago, so walking kids to school, between 10 and 15 people on their mobile phone a week. especially on this main road, always. And it just gets me. And the one day I'd seen a BBC advert for being on your mobile phone, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna share this and put a comment up. Now, I lost 3 friends. Each year of my high school, someone died through a car-related incident. And so it's always something that's been like, why are people still doing it? There's all the hands-free and everything. And I put something on, and the first comment I got was, it's Cano, not no, or it was something like that. It was a spelling mistake. And I haven't posted on social media since. I haven't even put Happy Father's Day to my husband with a picture of the kids or I don't put anything, because I'm like, someone's going to question my spelling. I don't answer comments.
I'm dyslexic like you, though. I totally get that.
Yeah, I just don't. I feel like I need.
Yeah.
Like it's whatever you were like trying to convey that
Yeah,
message.
it's just like I'm
it's just
talking about
completely
people
lost.
being
They're
on
like
yeah.
they're just being that keyboard
You know,
warrior.
spell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
nobody
they-
do
yeah.
that to your face.
No, exactly.
If you mispronounce a word, they wouldn't.
I think that person
Tim
would.
would.
That certain person probably would, but
They
in
just love
general, it's they wouldn't, and it's it just seems like so now. Like I see your stuff come up, I see Tasha's, and I'm a heart or a thumb. That's all you get from me. An emoji, and very rarely.
That's sad that you feel like that though, isn't it? Because of like the society that's about that you feel like if you do something you're just going to be criticised straight away. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's how it's been, and I'm now doing more with the community. I'd like to put more up and do more pages and add things and send things put on the school page. Don't forget we've got the play sessions. But I'm like, if I spell it wrong. I also feel like I need to be able to do it in Welsh as well, to make sure that bilingually doing it. And as I say, I can't do it in English. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it in Welsh as well. So I really feel that voice is stolen.
It can be paralysing though. I totally understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that, because similarly, I feel very much like all my stuff has to be bilingual.
Yes.
I'm not a Welsh speaker. I am a learner, permanent learner. And so I just put flecks of Welsh in it where I can, but then
Wanglish.
Wanglish,
yeah.
Acceptable in Wrexham language.
Isn't it though? But absolutely, and then I think, I haven't tagged everybody in it, and who have I missed out? And actually, but Facebook now isn't working properly, and what's going on? And it gets really overwhelming, and all you want to do actually is tell people that a really nice thing is happening. If you'd like to be involved in the nice thing. It shouldn't,
and not have those follow-up conversations either that kind of stem off that.
Yeah, I'm not starting
I
a rumble.
don't answer a text message. I'm rubbish. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Just got the time. So much going on.
Yeah.
I almost did the exact opposite, and I dug my heels in, and I've got in my brain now. I've got a little speech that I give to people who correct my English or grammar about the colonisation of the English language, and if they'd like to know the history of the colonisation of the English language in Wales, they can absolutely have a sit down with me about the syntax and about what that means to them, and they won't ever. So I'm like, don't come at me, because I think I'm going to school you, because if you're correcting my K's and my N's and my T's when they're silent, then you probably haven't got enough time to sit down and actually look at the history of that. And it does not get me invited to parties though, to be honest.
They were teaching at the time, and there's famous saying is, you can always tell a teacher, but you can't tell a teacher much. And it's, my mum was a teacher, she told me the saying, it's kind of, you can never correct them, they're always right, but actually, they don't know.
You can be right, but you can still be rude.
Absolutely,
you can be
very rude.
I'm going to be thinking about that all day now. That you just, because obviously social media's, in an ideal world, let's delete it and go back to just having these conversations where we're in real life. Do you know what I mean? But it is vital, because that's where you get there's a lot of support online. There's a lot of things online. But
I've noticed myself over the last 2 years, when I see someone in person, I actively talk to them, because I don't know things about them genuinely. So I can genuinely be like, if you've seen someone post something and something's bad has happened, and then you see them, this used to happen to me, you see them and you're like, they've just been through a really terrible time, and I've seen it, but I didn't interact with it and don't quite know what to say, so I'm just gonna pretend I haven't seen them and carry on, because you don't know where to put. I genuinely know nothing about anyone, so I can authentically say, hi, how are you? and I make effort
That's
to have
nice,
those
I like that.
conversations. It's quite
Imagine that.
yeah, it's quite nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a
But-
good example, though, isn't it, about how accessible spaces aren't always inclusive spaces.
Yeah.
And they're not always safe, just because everyone can be invited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
There should be studies into that. I'm not doing it, but there should be.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either. That sounds
So-